Hey, I'm Brent Whistler, founder of the Bootstrap Factory, makers of the Build Run Kit. And a lot of you have been asking about what's our platform about. So I wanted to just give you kind of an unscripted overview. Hopefully, this will be quick and it'll give you an idea of what we're here for. So I'm on the dashboard right now of the Build Run Kit, having logged in. And the first thing I'll draw your attention to is the workspaces. And I mention it first because the workspaces are sort of central to everything that we do. The Build Run Kit is a platform for founders and small business people to build and then operate a business. So what that looks like is hopefully clear right here from the start in the dashboard. Like the first thing that we could possibly work on that might make sense would be a founder journey. And so that's going to look something like this. And it's for those business people like maybe yourself who either haven't done this before or just forget things every time you're working through the process and you want to start a business and you either don't know where to start or you just want some help getting organized. So this journey is sort of like a monster wizard. It doesn't actually take that long, but it's got a lot of meaty steps in it. We throw in some AI assist where it makes sense. And we help you kind of go through the process of identifying a market, aligning your strengths and abilities to what sort of business you might want to launch. And then, of course, you can skip around, for example, if you already know the business that you're starting and just get assistance with the basics. So we take you through that discovery and then we help you look at the market and look at your key demographics and actually develop those personas. And this is content that's going to go later into your investor presentations or internal just mindset about what your business is about and why you're doing it. Then we help you develop your brand, and that's everything from the logo to colors to who the target audience is. Well, pulling in that target audience that we developed earlier, and then we help you through some of the setup of like deciding what kind of entity to create, and then just making sure that you have all your bases covered with banking and budgeting and planning and systems defined to capture information and to support and operate your product. We help you get through developing a plan for your go-to-market, which we're actually doing ourselves right now. We're launching at the end of March officially, but you can log into the Build Run Kit now and already use it. And that's it. And then so the other things that we have in the platform are the things that are critical to operating business. And I will start here with the strategy hub, which we actually use really heavily ourselves. Let me switch to our internal workspace. Hopefully I won't give away any trade secrets here because we're already making heavy use of our own project. I guess they call that dog fooding in the industry, right? We're using our products and they've, made us unhappy on several occasions and we fixed them. And that's what it's all about, right? Use your own products so that they're solid when you ask somebody else to use them. So here, like in the strategy hub, we have the ability to do tasks that might not be really robust enough for a project but you might want to categorize your tasks. And so that's what we do with our to-do list of things that we're working on in the product. And it's really powerful having that categorized any way we want it to be. We have kind of a roadmap here, tasks that as soon as we get out the door, we're going to start adding new features. We also use it just for my assistant and me, like to keep ourselves on track with all of the things that we're having to do to launch this service. and to make sure that everything is working properly. Um, so from there, we could switch over to the problems board, which is really pretty much like the task board, but it's just sort of conceptually a separate place to keep your bug reports, when or any kind of problems that you collect and categorize in your business that are sort of separate from just your to-do list. Thought boards, I'll go into a deeper dive about later, but a thought board is definitely, or basically like a whiteboard. And that could be really helpful when you're developing, just so that you can kind of map entities and show how they fit together and take notes. Relationship boards are pretty much just, what do they call these? Like a way to capture hierarchy, which is really handy for your organization or how your business fits with its clients or market. For a number of reasons, you may want to do some sort of an organizational tree. We have mind maps, which if having a mind map is just a way to just fit information together and sort of track concepts. And I won't spend a lot more time there. One of the most powerful features for us from the Strategy Hub has been simple notes, which you can sort of compare to maybe OneNote or something like that. It's a categorized set of note boards. And I'll show you our weekly build-in public summary, which is an email that we send out every week to the people that are interested in learning about our products. And so every week we put those in here so we can refer back to them. And it's been really helpful for us. The other thing that we use it for right now of note is that my assistant uses it to kind of make note of everything that she worked on every week. And that really helps me and her at the time of performance reviews or check-ins, just to know what we've been working on. So from there, like kind of getting out of the way of strategy and planning and getting into working, that's where these critical applications for your business come in, and that's the Goldilocks suite. Goldilocks because it's not too complicated and it's not too dumbed down. It's hopefully just right for a new business owner or an established business owner that just doesn't want to be bothered with. I'm trying to think of a platform. Some of these platforms that I've tested and tried to use as a new business owner are just so complicated and there's just so many moving parts. And so we've tried to not be like that. And so the first thing we'll look at is our CRM. And I actually want to back over to our training and demo workspace here. So just to say a little bit more about workspaces, they go across all the products. So like I can have a workspace that has invoices, projects, CRM, and journeys in it and other things. And that's really cool. That's really powerful for a business who has either multiple projects or multiple teams, or even if you want your salespeople to have their own private information that's just for them that nobody needs to look at. It's a good kind of way to separate either segments of your business or just visibility to information. And we make use of it, even though we're just a small 3-person team right now. We kind of segment our information among different workspaces, and it's pretty cool. Like I'll show you a little bit later. I have one that's called Brent's Workspace where I keep some personal stuff. So going through the CRM, it's pretty powerful. I mean, it's, context, what you expect for a CRM. The deal tracker is pretty cool and pretty robust. The information you can get at just by opening the screen without even going in to look at the detail. Like this deal, you can see it has some contacts related to it and some open tasks. We can look at our pipeline, which if you're a salesperson, you know is critical, and the pipeline is customizable. So these Kanban categories represent the stages in sales process. So if your stages are different than ours, then that's fine. You can just adjust the pipeline stages to your liking, and that is per workspace. So if you have another sales team that does processes a different that does sales a different way, then that's fine. You can have a sales pipeline that's special to that team. Of course, we have tasks that we can follow up on. One thing I forgot to mention is in kind of strategic places in our product, we have attachments. So what I use this for in my personal life is that I actually do put my contacts in here, like my insurance company and my doctor and other contacts like that. And like if I had a repair person come in, I would put a contact in there for them. And then I'll just put the attachments or the quotes or the insurance policies or whatever for that contact in my CRM. So it's not just for work. And then activity is just tracking like the meetings and the calls that you've had with your customers. And if you open a contact, you'll see some of those things, the activities that you've done with them. And so moving on, because I'll go into, I plan to do some other walkthroughs to go into these products in more detail, but just to give you the overview of Invoice now, Goldilocks Invoice is really a place to store the money that people owe you and also be able to produce attractive invoices that you can send out. And I'm going on faith here. Okay, so our demo invoice isn't so attractive. It doesn't have a logo on it or anything, but you get the idea. And you can record payments, and then so you can keep track of your customer and what they owe you. Let's see if Sarah Mitchell or we're still in the last throes of development, so we'll just assume that there's something to fix there. But anyway, you can look at your customer and see what they owe you and make a statement for them. And so the first thing on the roadmap for Goldilocks Invoice is we want to have some payment integration so that you will actually be able to get your customers to pay you via this platform as well. It's simple enough to, do your charges in PayPal separately or whatever, but that is kind of like on our radar as one of the first things that we want to extend out Invoices is to get payments integrated so that you can put in PayPal or Stripe and send your invoices and get them paid directly in the system. So let's go back and go over to projects. So projects is great. It's kind of self-explanatory. Here are my projects. And then I can have milestones for each project. And so if I open up a project, then I can see I can see a Kanban of my tasks to do. I can look at the milestones and see what kind of completion state we're in. And I'll actually switch back over to my personal workspace now and show you again, like not just for work. I'm using project from property that I just bought. I'm doing some renovations and setting up some apartments and that sort of thing. And so I have this big to-do list of things to do. And I have several milestones, which I'm using to categorize what I need to do to get this big project done. And so I'm loving it. It's pretty cool. I've obviously not been all that good about keeping my tasks up to date. Several are overdue, but that's probably because they're really overdue because I haven't finished them. Anyway, so other thing I wanted to mention is we have a growing list of free tools here that can just come in handy for any business person. A QR code generator, for example. We have tiny URLs coming out soon. We already have that ready. We just haven't put it on the platform yet. We have the ability to create logos, which comes in handy during the process of the startup launch journey. And we can create slogans for your business with a little AI help. And for like, we have some tools in here that don't even require you to be a member of the Build Run Kit. For example, the invoice generator isn't our Goldilocks invoice. It's just a way to create an invoice that looks attractive, because I see all the time on Reddit people looking like, I just want to create one invoice. I'm a landscaper or whatever. So we put a tool out there to do that. Anyway, this list is always growing, and we've got about 25 or 30 tools in the pipeline that we just need to polish up and add to the list. And so that's the overview. We would love to have you on the platform, and we'd love to hear you. There's a Build Run Kit Facebook page. There's also a group that you can join, a Build Run Kit group, so you can search for that. And Facebook, we're on Pinterest and X, though in a reduced manner because they deleted our account, long story, and other socials. And we hope that you will consider joining us for our launch on the 30th of March. Is the 30th the last day of March, or is it the 31st? I think it's the 31st. Anyway, last day of March. That's when we're, yes, 31st. That's when we're officially launching this platform. And that's actually also when one of our first of 7 books in the Startup Foundation series comes out. So learn more about that by joining any of our socials, or just write me at brent@buildrunkit.com or visit our website. Thank you.